Hey everyone, welcome back. We've been on this Opendoor journey together for a little while now, and I have to say, what a week it's been. Monday's session was absolutely wild. The stock was up over 120% at one point and still managed to close the day up more than 40% at $3.22. That kind of move is rare, even in meme stock territory. And with volume exploding to over 1.8 billion shares, it's clear something powerful is happening here. During that late-day pullback, when a lot of people were locking in profits, I actually doubled down. I know that might sound bold, but I still see a lot of runway left in this rally. The short interest remains elevated, the retail interest is explosive, and we're seeing the kind of gamma activity in the options chain that hints at more upside. Now, with all of this momentum, the big looming event is the shareholder vote scheduled for Monday, July 29th, a vote to grant the board authority to enact a reverse stock split. This decision could shape the trajectory of this entire play, so I've done a lot of thinking about the different ways this could unfold. The best case scenario, in my view, is that the vote is cancelled or delayed altogether. I don't know if the board will go that route, but it's possible, especially if they recognize that the stock is now Nasdaq compliant and that pushing forward with a vote might do more harm than good. If they do cancel or delay, I think we'll see an immediate bullish reaction. It would signal to retail traders that the company is respecting the current rally and not looking to derail it. That could send the stock surging again and reignite the squeeze narrative even more. Another very strong outcome would be the vote happening as scheduled, but shareholders voting no. That would be a massive statement, retail stepping in and saying, we don't want to give the board the tools to interfere with this momentum. That kind of unified rejection could galvanize confidence across social media and trader communities. It might trigger another wave of buying and really test that $5 psychological barrier, which we briefly touched earlier in the week. And let's be real, if we decisively break through 5, things could start moving quickly. I still believe a run to $20 is possible this week if the momentum holds. Now, probably the most realistic scenario, and one I'm personally preparing for, is that the vote does pass and the board is given the authority to enact a reverse split, but they choose not to use it. This gives the board optionality. It's a governance move, a formality, really. And as long as they don't act on that authority immediately, I think the market will digest it just fine. There might be some short-term uncertainty, maybe even a dip, but once people realize the board isn't actually pulling the trigger, I expect the rally to resume. This outcome is neutral to slightly bullish, depending on how the board communicates their intentions after the vote. Then, of course, there's the least desirable scenario. The vote passes, and the board goes ahead and enacts the reverse split. This would almost certainly kill the rally, at least in the short term. It would send a message that the board is willing to override retail sentiment, despite the recent compliance and momentum. Not only would this damage short-term price action, but I believe it could have long-term reputational consequences for Opendoor. Retail traders, especially the ones driving this rally, have long memories. And if they feel betrayed, it could have brand implications beyond just the stock price. But here's where it gets interesting. There's a fifth scenario that's not being talked about enough, a wildcard catalyst. Imagine the company times a positive announcement with the vote, something like a new partnership, a guidance update, or a strategic move. That kind of news could shift the narrative instantly, softening the impact of an unfavorable vote or giving the stock another leg up if the outcome is bullish. We've seen this playbook before with other momentum stocks. If Opendoor does something similar, we could see this thing go vertical again. So, to wrap it all up, I'm still very bullish on Opendoor. We've had a wild run so far, and while there's always risk in any play, I believe the odds still favor more upside in the near term. This stock has cracked the $2 level, kissed 5, and now has the chance to break that psychological resistance in a big way. If we get the right outcome, whether it's a vote delay, a no vote, or simply a board that decides to stay hands-off, this thing could rip. And if it does, I don't think $20 is out of the question. Let me know what you think in the comments. Are you still holding? Did you buy the dip like I did? What scenario are you hoping for as we head toward July 29th? This is going to be a pivotal week, and I'll be right here tracking every step of it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.